You start talking, and immediately, without even realizing it, your brain splits into two. One half is trying to remember the point you wanted to make in your mother tongue and the idea that was so clear in your head just a second ago. And the other half is searching frantically. Is this the right word? Is my grammar correct? Should I say this differently? And while those two halves are fighting each other, the conversation is moving forward without you. And this happens again and again and again until one day you think, maybe I'm just bad at speaking. Maybe English is just not for me. But this is not true at all. That thought is a lie. It is not your English and it is not your level. It is something much smaller and much more fixable. And today I'm going to show you exactly what it is. Hi everyone, and welcome to Massey's World, where we learn a fun, easy English together. I'm really happy you're here, and without further ado, let's get started. So, what is actually going on? Let me explain it simply. When you're studying English, your job is to focus on the language, the words, the grammar, the pronunciation. And that is exactly what you should be doing. That is studying and that's learning, which is great. But when you're speaking, your job completely changes. Your job is not to have a perfect grammar or to use the perfect phrases you could possibly find. Your job is the message, not a perfect language, but communication. What do you want to say and what do you want the other person to understand? That's it. If you want to upgrade your speaking, use better phrases, grammar, whatever, you should practice it in your study time, not when you're trying to get a point across in maybe a stressful situation under a lot of pressure. When you're talking and keep checking, is this correct? Is this natural? Is this the best way to say it? Was the preposition here on or at? That checking, that perfectionism, it is like trying to drive a car while also reading the manual at the same time. You cannot do both. Something will be damaged and sacrificed here, and it will be your fluency. So, what do you do instead? Researchers who study how we learn languages have found something very important. There are actually two different processes happening when you use a second language. The first one is conscious. Conscious means you actively think about it. That is your studying brain. The words, the rules, the grammar. The second one is subconscious. Subconscious means it happens automatically without you thinking about it, like breathing or walking. And here's the beautiful part. The more you speak, the more your brain quietly moves the language from the conscious to the subconscious process. Without you even realizing it, your brain is slowly building a more natural version of your English every single time you use it. But only if you let it. Only if you stop interrupting it with the checking and the correcting. Only if you silence that demon in your head that wants every sentence that comes out of your mouth to be perfect. That perfectionism is not helping your brain, it is actually getting in the way of it. And I know this because I lived it. Let me tell you what happened to me. A few years ago, I realized something about my own English. When I was speaking and I kept searching for the perfect word, the perfect sentence, trying to sound as good as possible, I had long pauses. I lost my train of thought, sounded slow and unsure. Train of thought, by the way, means the flow of your ideas, the connected line of what you want to say. And I kept losing it because half of my brain was busy judging my English instead of focusing what I actually wanted to say. But then something shifted. I started focusing only on my message. What do I want this person to understand? And that's all. And something happened that I did not expect at all. My English got better, not worse. I was speaking faster, more fluently, more naturally, and the words were coming to me on their own. And I finally started speaking at my actual level, not below it. It is like when you let your brain relax and not stress over being perfect, it actually starts functioning better. And I realized that studying and the speaking are two completely different jobs. When you study, focus on the language, and when you speak, forget the language. Focus on the person in front of you, focus on your message, and trust that your brain has been listening to everything you have studied. Because it has. But I know what some of you are thinking right now, and actually, it is a very good question. You might ask, Massey, if I do not correct myself when I speak, how will I ever improve? Will I not just keep making the same mistakes forever? And that's a very good question, but the answer is no. And here's why. Your brain is always learning. Every conversation you have, every video you watch, every song you listen to, and every lesson you do, your brain is collecting the information quietly in the background. And over time, without you forcing it, you learn more and more. And that is how language acquisition works. Acquisition means the natural process of picking up a language through using it and being exposed to it. The studying gives your brain the material, and the speaking gives your brain the practice. But the perfectionism, that just slows everything down and makes you doubt yourself. So from now on, when you're studying English, study properly. Focus on the words, the grammar, the pronunciation. Take your time. Be as careful and as detailed as you want. Have your serious face on. That is your studying time. But when you're speaking, make one decision before you open your mouth. I am going to focus on my language. What do I want this person to understand? Just focus on that part, and even if you make mistakes, it is absolutely fine. Your brain is learning and absorbing everything. Your English is growing. You got this. Just keep talking. And I want to say one more thing before we finish. Something important. Perfectionism in English does not just hurt your fluency, it hurts your confidence. And confidence is everything in a second language. When you're confident, your brain relaxes. And when your brain relaxes, the words come easier. And when the words come easier, you sound more fluent. And when you sound more fluent, you feel more confident. Do you see the cycle? Perfectionism breaks that cycle. It makes you hesitate, and hesitation is the enemy of fluency. Nobody is judging your grammar, they're just trying to understand you. And if they understand you, you have succeeded. That is the whole point of language connection, not perfection. So tell me today, do you recognize this feeling, the moment when your brain splits into two and your English just falls apart? Tell me your story in the comments. When does it happen to you? In a meeting, on a date, with a stranger? I genuinely want to know. Stay curious and stay consistent. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.